Hello everyone, welcome to our asynchronous class and we're going to discuss today about your Earth's external processes. When we say Earth's external processes, these are the Earth's activities that occur at or near the Earth's surface and are powered by the energy from the sun. So what are these different external processes? These are your weathering, mass wasting, and erosion. Again, ito yung mga activities natin na nangyayari po at the Earth's surface or malapit lang sa Earth's surface, just beneath the Earth's surface po. So, ito po yung mga ganap or activities driven by the energy from your sun. So, again, the topic under your external processes, these are your weathering, mass wasting, and erosion. If there is an external processes, meron din tayong tinatawag na internal processes. Yung internal processes, this refers to your volcanism and mountain building, derive their energy from Earth's interior. So lahat ng mga nangyayari, activities sa ilalim ng lupa, that is your internal processes. As you notice, may mga pinaguhugutan ng mga energy po ang different processes. When we say internal processes, galing po siya sa Earth's interior, yung init po sa ilalim ng planet Earth ninyo. While your external processes naman po, it happens due to because of the energy driven from your sun. Okay? Now, focus na tayo ngayon sa external processes natin. We have three different external processes. The first one is your weathering. Next is your mass wasting and erosion. But we're going to discuss first your weathering and erosion for today. Now, for your weathering, these are your physical breakdown and your chemical alteration of rocks at or near Earth's surface. When we say physical breakdown, nagdi-disintegrate, there is disintegration. And when we say chemical alteration naman po, there is decomposition. So, pwede natin siyang i-define as your weathering as the disintegration, ang pagkadurog, and decomposition, pag-change ng content niya or composition ng bato of rocks at or near Earth's surface. Ayan po. Your mass wasting naman po, this is the transfer of rock and soil downslope under the influence of your gravity. So, ito yung landslide. Opo. The appropriate term po na gagamitin natin for landslide is mass wasting. Kasi po yung sinasabi natin na landslide sa mga nasa news, sa TV, or actual natin nakikita, not all landslides are really landslides. There are different types of mass wasting kasi pwede siya rockfall, pwede siya rock slide, mudslide, and many more. But we'll discuss that on the next days na po ang mass wasting. Focus muna tayo kay weathering and erosion. Your erosion naman po is the physical removal of your material by your mobile agents. What are those mobile agents? These are your water, your wind, and including your ice. So sila po ang reason kung bakit po na-erode yung mga soil natin. Because of your wind, siguro nahanginan, pwede water, kinaanod siya, like sa pag-ulan, naanod ang mga balas, kinana. So those are an example of your erosion. Now, focus tayo ngayon sa weathering. The first external process that we are going to discuss is your weathering. Your weathering, it is also contributes to the formation of some of the Earth's most spectacular scenery. Sabi nga natin kanina, ito yung physical breakdown or disintegration and your chemical alteration or your decomposition of rocks at or near Earth's surface. Again, nag-contribute siya ng mga spectacular sceneries. Bakit po? Because of the weathering po, nag-change po yung mga rock formations natin. Mo na reason yun so unalingin pa matong bato dito or parang bundok. Yung karoon lagi kinagporma na siya o ganong wave. Diba po ka siya tanawon. Ayan. It's all because of your weathering. So it is also important for humans. For humans nga naman, many of the life-sustaining minerals and elements found in soil and ultimately in the food that we eat were freed from solid rock by weathering process. Po. Yung mga minerals po doon, because of your weathering, nadudurog yung bato natin. That is why yung mga minerals na nasa bato din po natin, na natatanggal siya, nadidisintegrate. Sabi nga natin kanina, may disintegration. Nadidisintegrate, then it can be absorbed to your soil, then pwede din siya ma-absorb sa mga plants na ginakaon na nato. Ayan po. So, yun po. Those are the example of your weathering. Ano yung tsura ng example ng weathering ninyo? Example is your concrete, It looks like a conglomerated or sedimentary rock. Diba? Can you still remember as a conglomerate or sedimentary rock? Ito yung pathway natin. This is an example of your weathering. May disintegration ba na nangyayari? Opo. Why? Maybe because of the roots of the trees, that is why na-disintegrate, na-biak. So that is already considered as your weathering. Ano pa? These pillars po in a temple, I don't know if it's a temple or basta structure. Ayan, look at the texture of your, or the itsura, the physical appearance of your pillars, no? Nakuha siya marasig na lanay, no? Na-disintegrate din po. It's because of your weathering. Maybe because of the rain, plus hangin-hangin, ayun po. So, kaya nagkakaganyan pong itsura niya. But it will take time po. Now, there are two basic categories of weathering, no? It's your mechanical weathering and your chemical weathering. Both processes usually work simultaneously in nature and reinforce each other, no? So, again, pwede sila mag-work together, pwede pagkatulang, pero mas mabilis ang weathering if they work together. At the same time, pwede po gina-reinforce. Kung si-reinforce, ginatabangan niya. For example, go nila, durugo nila ba to? So, there is a mechanical weathering na nangyayari. Kasi sa mechanical weathering, nadadagdagan siya ng chemicals that is where mas napabilis ang pagka-weather, yung pagka-disintegrate ng bato, or ang decomposition ng bato is mas napabilis. Ayan po. So, now, isa-isayin po natin yung two basic categories of your weathering. First, mechanical weathering. Your mechanical weathering, it is accomplished by physical forces that break rocks into smaller and smaller pieces without changing the rock's mineral composition. Again, take note, na durog lang siya, nadugmok siya into smaller one, but the composition is still the same. In breaking rocks into small pieces, it increases the amount of surface area available for chemical weathering. No? Because of nadurog na gani siya, no? So, mas dako na chance na yun. So, there will be reinforcement na pagdating sa chemical weathering. Example, sir, yung kanina, yung napakita ni sir na pathway, di ba may crack na siya? So, since may crack na siya, pwede ba dito musulod ang water? Yes. Pwede ba ang water magka-mix of chemical na mas mapadali niya madurog tong semento? Yes, pwede po. Ganun po. In breaking rocks into small pieces, it increases the amount of the surface area, sabi nga natin, available for chemical weathering. Nagkakaganyan po, from a big rock, tapos nagkakaroon ng maliliit until namugamay siya. So that is an example of your mechanical weathering. Now, there are different processes of mechanical weathering, no? Klase-klaseng processes under your mechanical weathering. Mechanical weathering po pinag-usapan. The first one is your frost wedging. Ano nangyayari sa frost wedging? Breakdown of rock due to the expansion of your ice, no? As we all know, water has a unique property of expanding to 9% upon freezing. Opo, that is the reason, class, nga nung pag magbutang kang tubig sa baso or bottle, ni mga closed bottle, pag tingala ka or kanong sa soft drinks, diba, ibutang nimo pag sa mga botilya ang gamit, ibutang nimo sa freezer, and then nangyari po, nung nag-ice na siya, nagputok, no, na-explode. Bakit? It's because it expanded up to 9%, no? Nag-expansion ng 9%, so saan pupunta yung air? Walang kakalabasan yung air kasi may cover man. So, ano nangyari? Bubuto na yun siya. So, water may enter the crack of the rocks, no? When it freezes, it expands. So, it will push the other side of the rock. So, rock will break into pieces. Ayan. Kita nyo sa image natin dyan sa frost wedging sa baba. May crack tayo, tapos papasok yung water-filled crack. And then, nagbaba ang temperature, so nag-ice. Sabi nga natin, it will expand up to 9%. So, nag-expand siya. Kung nag-expand siya, natulak niya ang dalawang side ng bato in between sa rock niya. So, ano nangyari po? Nabiak ba ang bato? Opo. So, this is an example of your frost wedging. Ayan. Okay? Now, your frost wedging happens under these three conditions, no? First is when there is sufficient moisture. Of course, kailangan niya natin ng tubig para mag-ice, no? When there are pre-existing cracks or pore spaces, no? Kung may mga butas or may mga crack ang ating mga bato, kung asa po musulod ang inyong moisture or inyong water, it can penetrate. Of course, aanin natin yung water natin moisture kung wala namang cracks and butas. So, hindi siya makakapasok doon. And then when your temperature frequently rise and fall past above or below the freezing point. Bakit rise and fall, sir? Of course, pag magbaba ang temperature mo, ice siya. Now, pag naka-ice lang siya, dili pa na siya ma-separate totally. Plus, kaya nakadikit pa man ang duha ka bato, although mas nabuak na niya, nakadikit pa rin siya. Pero once na mag-increase na naman ang temperature, sumala na itong ice, dito na rin mo makita nga na crack mo dyan ang bato. Ayan, okay? So, that is your frost wedging. Now, the next process po under your mechanical weathering po, aside sa frost wedging, meron tayong tinatawag na salt crystal growth. the breaking down of rock due to your expansion of salt crystals, no? Mostly nangyayari ito sa tabi ng dagat. Yung mga bato natin, makita ninyo dito nga yung mga holes, no? Same lang sa cross wedging ang effect niya, pero baliktad. As the salt water exposed to the heat, no? Syempre, naibangag gamay, no? Musulod dito ang salt water. Now, as the salt water exposed to the heat and it evaporates, mahimo siya og salt which weakens and breaks the rock, no? So, mo evaporate man, mabilin tong sodium nato dito, sodium chloride, the salt mismo sa bato. And then this salt sa bato class, it will break down or makapaweaken siya or makapaweaken siya sa inyong bato. That is why pwede siya easily ma-break. Best example, ito, ngilong-ngilo no, ngilong-ngilo. Ayan, lain siya paminaw na ito na. Pero katong mga picture dito, mga kamot-kamot na mga butas-butas. This is an example of your anong tawag nito? Salt crystal growth. The effect of your salt crystal growth. Ayan. Okay? Another process of mechanical weathering is heating and cooling. Ano nangyayari sa heating and cooling? Rocks are composed of different minerals which expand and contract when subjected to sudden changes in temperature. No? If there is ang certain mineral sa loob ng bato niya, sensitive masyado sa heat. No? Ano nangyayari? Pwede mo expand. Pag may expand siya, pwede ba niya mabuak ang bato? Yes, pwede. That is why some of the rocks, I don't know if na-try ninyo na pag maghaling-haling yung mga parents sa inyong balay tapos nilabutangan yung mga pebbles subahanan. Taon-taon mo buto ragalit yung mga tao dahil mo kakatawan ninyo yung parents kayo nabutahan atong bato. And nagbuto siya, it's because of the heat. No, nag-expand ang mineral sa loob ng bato. That's why nag-crack siya. So that is an example of your mechanical weathering. No? Ayan, okay? Rocks in highways develop cracks and small fractures because of too much exposure to heat. No? Pag sobrang init ng mga kalsada nato, inanak po, factor po siya. Tapos samot na pag mukha itang ulan, makalipat po na po siya kabugnawan. So mag-weekend yun ang inyong semento that time. Another one, example of your mechanical weathering is your abrasion. The breaking down of rock by friction. Abrasion, more na pangos ba? Di ba mo na pangos, abrasion? No, pag nadagma ka, so napangos ka, nagasgas. So, that is your abrasion. No? Ano nang tawag sa bundi mo na kay abrasion. Now, may friction. Bakit? Ano nangyayari, sir? So, example nito, sir, is sa river, rocks are smooth due to water flow. Ano man, kay pag flow sa water, naman po na siya dala ng mga pino ng mga sediments. So, ang purpose niya sa sediments is for ginalihan niya, papel de liha, parang sandpaper, no, nga nag-brush sa bato. That is why your bato in your river is, mapansin niyo, smooth siya at the same time pabilog ang forma. No? Kasi nga po, because of the sediments na nadadala ng inyong tubig. So, mura siyang sandpaper effect, no? Binakis-kis niya itong bato, na smooth siya. Another one is sa desert. Sa desert, no? Rocks are smooth cause of sands blown by the winds. No? Okay, sa desert ba puro man ang sand. Pag kusugang hangin, mapalid niya ang sand, and then this sand will act like sandpaper sa mga bato dito. That is why it's smooth. Yan example ng ating mga bato sa river. Yung example natin kanina. No? Boulders surrounded by impacts of abrasion. It's because of the abrasion process. Ano pa? Yung sa mga desert natin, nagkakaroon tayo ng mga scenery na ganyan, di ba? Ang ganda tingnan. Because of your, it can be because of your weathering at the same time your erosion. Ayan, may mga bilog-bilog, parang bilog. Ayan. Another one, I think this is the last one, mechanical weathering, process of mechanical weathering, is your biological activity. Now, when you say biological activity, activity ng mga may buhay. Example, your plant. Your plant is a biotic, di ba? May buhay, a living thing. Now, because of your plant, yung mga roots niya, no, ng gawas, kaya niya buakon ang mga bato, makutom na magian niya. Same sa example natin kanina, di ba? Yung may, tawag nito, yung pathway niya na crack because of the roots of the trees na nasa side niya. Another one, yung mga rodents, no? Mga rodents natin dyan, yung family of rodents. So, they will just kalot-kalot, no? Magkalot-kalot mo na bungkag po nila ang bato. Kaya po nila. Sa pag soft lang ang bato, or dili kayo na nakacompacted or like sedimentary rock, daliran niya makupot. So, there is a mechanical weathering na nangyayari sa bato ninyo. Ayan. Ito po, another example ng mga trees na effect, no? Ayan. Okay. Next, we are done with your mechanical weathering. Chemical naman tayo. It involves a chemical transformation of rock into one or more new compounds, no? So yung chemical ng inyong composition ng the mineral composition niyo, yung chemical composition niya nag-change because of these chemicals din nahalo din doon sa kanya. It helps in mechanical weathering through weakening the outer portion of some rocks, which in turn makes them more susceptible to being broken by mechanical weathering process. Sabi nga natin kanina, they together enforce each other. Ayan po, nag-reinforce sila with each other. Now, it involves the complex process that alter the internal structures of minerals by removing and or adding the elements. Ayan po. So, because of the, best example dito is rusting, no? Oxygenation, nagkakaroon ng rusting. Ayan po, yung sa iron nail natin, yung lansang. Tapos found in moist soil. Pag moist siya, so mabasa-basa. So, there will be an iron oxide na nangyayari, oxidation niya, so magtaya. Habang naaning taya, pag dili ni matanggal yung taya, what will happen? No, pag ma-expose siya for a very long period of time sa taya, maggabok ang inyong lansang. So, it will easily be break like a toothpick, no? So, same with your rock. If your rock is rich in iron, it will oxidize, tapos mag-yellow to reddish-brown rust, which will appear to the structure like this one class of marag-inani. So, inanang forma niya, magtaya-taya po yung bato pag dagang kayo siya iron content. So, mas dali lang siya mabudugmok or madurog ang kanyang klase na bato. And water is the most important agent of your chemical weathering. Opo. Kasi nga siya po yung because of your water, mga itong chemical mo, siya mo sulod dito sa mga pores niya. So, very important po si water. Ayan, okay? So, ito po, example. Ayan, disintegrate na ang naong sa angel sa cementerio. It's because of your acid rain. No? There are chemicals no, in your acid rain na nakapadurog easily sa structure ninyo. Ayan, okay? What are the other factors that influence rock weathering? No? Kung sa pa kaya ang pwedeng factor na mag-influence sa rock weathering? First is your rock composition. When you see rock composition or characteristics, it encompasses all the chemical traits of rocks including the mineral composition and solubility. Any physical features such as your joints or may crack siya are also important because they influence the ability of water to penetrate the rock. As we discussed kanina, water is very important especially in your chemical weathering. So, magdadepende po siya sa composition ng inyong bato. Kaya kanina, pag ang bato niyo is rich in iron, possible ba nga mag-rust po ang inyong bato? Opo, possible na mag-rust siya. So, therefore, ano nangyayari? Pag ma-oxidize, ay mag-rust na ang bato or magtaya-taya na ang bato and then magabok na siya dahil na siya mag-disintegrate. Yan po. Ano pa? Climate, of course, low temperature, so therefore there's a chances of frost wedging. Pag warm temperature and abundant in moisture naman, mas mabilisan ang weathering due to your chemical weathering. Ayan. So, inana lang siya. No? Your faster in hot, wet climates. Slower in very cold, that is your dry areas. Okay? Again, ang weathering natin, mabilis siya when in hot and wet climates. Mainit and wet climates, pabilis ang weathering. Slow naman ang weathering in very cold and dry areas. Bakit slow sa dry? Kasi walang water, no? Tapos very cold also. Possible lang kasi dyan, more on frost wedging lang mangyayari doon. So again, it is fast when hot and wet climates. Mabilis pag hot and wet. Mabagal pag cold and dry. Diba? Boring man dyan pag cold and dry siya. Diba? Ay, kaboring. May bulag na lang ta. Ganun. Ayan, slow ha ang weathering. Slow weathering pag cold and dry. And fast pag it's hot and wet. Hala. SPG si Zero. SPG. Now, proceed na tayo ngayon sa external processes erosion. Ayan. We are done with your weathering. Erosion na naman tayo. When we talk about your erosion, it is a natural process that part of the constant recycling of Earth's material that we call the rock cycle, no? Nadyo dito sa rock cycle, ma-remember ninyo. And our mobile agent here is your water and wind, no? As your rain, mag-ulan, tapos may water drops. Each drop is like a bomb pag abot sa yuta, no? Blasting the movable soils particles out of their position. So, mahulog siya, tapos mabungkag tong mga soil, upper portions in yung soil, and then pag mag-flow na ang water, may run of water na tayo, it will carry the dislodged particles, no? So, nagkakaroon tayo ng mga tinatawag na like sheet erosion or the soil is being moved by thin sheets of water. Ayan. So, muna siyang sheet erosion. Now, soil erosion pa yan. The wearing away of your topsoil. No? Ang pagkawala sa yung topsoil. Bakit sir? Problema ba yun? Opo. Because your topsoil is the most fertile and it contains more organic materials. No? Kaya halos na agad nakapatong. Like your mga animal dung. Ayan po nakapatong dun. So, di naman na ginalubong animal dung. Naraman na nila. So, dila siya mag-decompose. So, medyo fertile din po. Not medyo, but most fertile din po ang topsoil natin. And your soil erosion is the transportation of weathered rocks. Ayan. Now, sabi nga natin, meron tayo tinatawag na mobile agent of water and wind. Na-erode po ang ating soil because of your water and wind. So, let's talk about your water erosion. Water erosion, the loss of your topsoil due to your water. Ganun lang po. Now, there are types of erosion where water carries the sediments of different bodies of water. Because of your surface water runoff, water flow on the land surface. So, nangyayari po, nadadala yung topsoil natin. Okay, that is your water erosion. Under your water erosion, meron tayong types of water erosion. Sheet erosion, rill erosion, bank erosion, your gully erosion. Sheet, rill, gully, and bank. Sheet erosion muna tayo. When we say sheet erosion, erosion that occurs fairly even over an area. Ngayon sa example natin dyan, very thin lang also, no? Napaka-thin lang ng kanyang pag-erode ng topsoil natin. Meron din tinatawag na splash erosion. Ito hindi ko na-mention sir kanina. It is mainly when caused by rainfall in which a single raindrop can create a small crater. So, dispersing the soil particles. So, ano nangyayari? Nabungkag man niya. So, nagkakaroon na ngayon ng erosion. Nalulusen yung soil particles natin. Kaya, ayun po, maanod na siya. Ganun. That is your splash erosion. Another one is your rill erosion. When we say rill, ito yung mga small channels of water. Rills are small channels of water. No? Ano nangyayari po? Ganito po itsura nyo nandiyan sa picture. Erosion that results in small, short-lived, and well-defined stream. But short-lived, kasi total, pwede mo po siya mabalik kung flatten siya, no? Mawala lang siya. And then, nasa yung mga small streams na nangyayari, parang batis siya, di ba? Ang forma niya, or mga kanal, maliliit na kanal. That is your rill erosion. Pag malaki naman po, sobrang laki na talaga ng kanyang rills, hindi na rill erosion tawag natin doon. Tawag natin doon is gully erosion. It is advanced type of rill erosion. No, this is a big problem. Bakit? Land can't be used for growing crops. No? So, ano ba pagtanom ang mga tanuman na kung inana ng itsura kadagko sa liki sa inyong yuta, no? So, and the ditches can cause hazard to the farmers. No? Pwede mabulasok yung mga farmers tira, especially when driving your machinery over the fields, like mga traktor, mga lubong dira sa mga bangag-bangag. So, that is your gully erosion. This describes the erosion caused directly by your rainwater runoff or melting snow. Pag mag-melt ng snow, mas tagal mag-agos na tubig na. So this type of erosion is the most severe due to the accumulation of rapid flow of water. That is the recent class na mudako dyan siya og taman-taman. Ayan po. That's your gully erosion. Another one is your bank erosion. Your bank erosion naman, erosion of the bank of a stream or waterway. Ayan po. Ano nangyari? May stream kayo, o may kanal, o ganyan po. May, yun nga, batis. Tapos na siya pakurbada na part, no? Makita niyo sa mga sir, na ipa-curve yung part. Pag muagi ang tubig dira, pwede ba niya tulako ng kuto niyang mga nadiri sa pagliko niya? Yes, pwede niya pututon mo na mainani ang itsura niya. So, na-erode ba ang soil? Yes, na-remove. So, that is what we call your bank erosion. No? Ayan po. That is your bank erosion. Next one naman po is wind na tayo. Punta tayo sa wind erosion. Your wind erosion is the loss. Sabi nga natin, may mobile agent po ang ating soil erosion. It can be water erosion or wind erosion. Wind tayo. The loss of topsoil due to your wind. No? And nadadala po ang ating sand and soil in terms of your wind erosion. It happens when light materials such as small rocks or pebbles, no, are carried by the wind to different places. Naanod siya. Now, ano pa? Ano pa po ang reason ba aside sa water and wind, sir? No, balik tayo. Kay wind erosion, it tends to occur most when the amount of rainfall is low, no? So the moisture ng soil ninyo is at lowest value. So therefore uga, no? Nag-uga ang soil. So mas powdery ang dating niya. So therefore pag buhangin, madala-dayon siya. Ayan. Now, nagkakaroon ng soil erosion because of your water erosion and because of your wind erosion. Napa by other factors, sir, na magkaroon ng soil erosion? Yes. One factor is your tillage. Your tillage is the preparation of farmers' field by for growing crops. So yun na, tingnan nyo yung traktor natin dira, no? Ginabungkal niya ang yuta. Nalulusen ba ang ating soil? Yes, nalulusen pa ang mga soil particles natin. Now, it can be prone na for water and wind erosion. So nagkakaroon din ng soil erosion is because of your tillage. Ayan. Now, what causes of soil erosion? Pwede po soil erodibility. When you say soil erodibility, it's the vulnerability of soil to erosion caused by rainfall intensity, soil properties, crop cover, and slope. When you say slope, kung sa siya ka na pa-slide, yun ang forma niya. No? So, kung pa-slide siya, pwede nga maligi dahil or maano dahil dito ang soil niya. Magdedepende din po sa properties ng soil niyo. If it's not, if dili siya para ganin, as mentioned, dili siya na naka-moisten, no? Walay moist kaayo, so therefore dry siya, pwede siya dahil erode. Pwede po na, yes, pwede nga, okay siya nga na-moisten ang inyong nabasa siya. Pero pag too much food basa, what will happen? There will be surface run of water, no? So, ano nangyayari? Pag masyadong malakas ang rainfall, maanod madala po dahil mapila inyong soil. The soil erodibility is one of the cause of having soil erosion. Another one is your soil texture. Your soil with faster infiltration rates, higher amount of organic matter, and improved structures are less prone to erosion. Ayan, no? Pag healthy gani ang ato ang soil nato, tapos may moist talaga sakto lang, then mas lesser ang prone for erosion siya. Magdikit yun siya. What else? Overgrazing. Ano yung overgrazing? Ito yung paglagay niyo ng mga like kambing, kabaw, Bisaya sa kabaw, or kalabaw, or cow, or sige, water buffalo, sa siya, kabaw rin dito, karabaw, your cows, any poultry animals, no? Like your livestock also, ayan po. Nilalagay nyo doon sa mga damuhan. Para para kaunin na ng damo. Overgrazing, nasobraan, kaon, no? Ang mga tanong dito, ano nangyari? Na-expose na ba inuon ng soil? Yes, mas na-expose siya. So, vulnerable na inuon siya for erosion. Yan po. Same with this one, vegetation removal. Kung kato, overgrazing lang to because di pa kaon lang mo ang mga sagbot, kanikay, hindi remove na jud, no? So, walang kakapit sa inyong lupa, that is why prone na siya for erosion. Ano pa? The use of pesticides. Bakit po? Because your pesticides may degrade the quality of your soil. So, kung bababa ang quality ng soil ninyo, therefore, maging dry, possible mag-dry siya, and prone na siya. Hindi na siya magpilit-pilit, so therefore, prone na siya for erosion. Ayan po. So, those are the different causes of soil erosion. Now, what are the measures to prevent soil erosion? Marami pong ways to prevent soil erosion. Terracing. When you say terracing, kanang muragog ka tong sa hagdan-hagdang palayan dito sa Benguet. Sa Benguet na yun. Oo. Rice terraces. Kaya may terraces. Bakit po? Instead na pa-slope kayo siya nga pa-mountain, butangan nila og layer-layer ka ng terrace na level para dili dayon mahulog dito. So, terracing is effective para sa inyong erosion. Po. Ano pa? Reducing farmland conversion. Ayan po. Kasi nga po halos ngayon lahat mga farmland ginawa ng housing area. Ayan po. Planting vegetation. Yes, you have to plant more plants to hold your soil. And building retaining walls. Ayan po. Ito yung mga retaining walls para dili na mo, kung na-move man ang soil, at least di na siya ma-move farther. Ayan, okay? So, mura rin siya same dito sa inyong diversion road na ginay mo at mga wall na ginay mo dito. No? Retaining walls ang tawag ato para dili maghulog ang inyong mga soil. Ayan. Kumato mo sa diversion road. Okay? So, that ends our topic for today. I think that's enough already because it's already mga 30 minutes, more or less 30 minutes na phone discussion, Sir Roy. Thank you so much. If you have questions, you can just PM Sir Roy and discuss it during our synchronous class. And at the same time, you can watch or rewatch and rewatch and rewatch this video. This video class, as we had our discussion, may mga letters na lumalabas on the upper right corner of the video. Yung mga nasa upper right corner video na letters na yun, please paki-encode po ng word na yun doon po sa ating the last number of your Quipper quiz, no? Sa last number ng Quipper quiz, you just type the word, kung ano yung word na nabuo ninyo from those letters na nakita ninyo. This is a test, no, para ma-identify natin na middle jud mo sa discussion ni Sir Roy. I hope no one will cheat and no one will share the answer para po lahat naman po manood sa discussion, Sir Roy. Thank you so much and have a great day, everyone.